developing a martial art program that was being modeled after the Marine martial art program. The idea of all sorts of these types of conditioning is to push your body further than your mind believes it can go. And the result of that is a heightened sense of confidence.
There you go, turn your hip. Get into it, good job.
The thing that makes it unique is basically the mode of transportation in between each station, and the fact that as you do this stuff, you have to rely on the person next to you to help you get through some of the exercises.
Yeah, I'd be thirsty too. Imagine how exhausted you'll be after you watch the debut of Dog Days Navy Lacrosse in its entirety when it debuts Friday, April 7th at 7:30 Eastern, only on CSTV. And we'll have more from the Fieldhouse here on the Nissan College Lacrosse Halftime Show after this break.
I feel like we keep calling this guy's number over and over and over again. But the big fella deserves it. Guess who you, the viewer, voted is having a smoking hot Saturday? Seth?
The Big Baby Bacon Cheese Classic.
Glenn Davis spotting up from behind the arc and draining a huge three to send LSU to the Final Four for the first time since 1986. He has carried this Tiger team on his back, scoring more than 20 per and pulling down almost 9 rebounds per game. He's doing it all on the defensive end as well. Big Baby is your pick today from CSTV.com.
How hot is Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich? Wendy's whole breast filet is fired up with our famous blend of cayenne, chili peppers, and spices. It's a fireball of flavor. Bite after bite. Don't clown around with knockoffs. Get more meat and more heat with the original spicy chicken sandwich, only at Wendy's. So come on, heat seekers. Do what tastes right.
Always thinking.
Low-fat cheese sandwiches on whole wheat bread are high in calcium to help build strong bodies. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Visit smallstep.gov.
Welcome back inside the Fieldhouse here on the Nissan College Lacrosse Halftime Show. I'm Adam Zucker. Our Navy-Georgetown game just getting us started on a very busy day here at CSTV. Following lacrosse, it's Crystal Ball live from the Final Four. See all the festivities from Indianapolis as our panel of experts previews the Final Four matchups. George Mason against Florida and LSU UCLA. Crystal Ball live from the Final Four at 2:30 Eastern. And then join us later tonight live from Indianapolis for a Final Four recap on the NCAA March Madness Highlight Show on CSTV. See all the highlights and hear from the winners and losers on the official late-night highlight show of the NCAA tournament, only on CSTV Championship Central 2006. And that'll do it from the Fieldhouse here in New York. I'm Adam Zucker. We'll get you back out to Annapolis for the second half of Georgetown and Navy coming up next.
Why is Sirius the choice in satellite radio?
It feels like you get every song ever made. Rock, pop, hip-hop, no commercials.
We get a ton of music, no commercials.
It's comedy. It's real. You know what I'm saying?
If it involves a uniform, a stick, a ball, bang, it's right in there.
Bang! NFL is in there.
It's the best thing I ever put in my car. Next to him.
It's flat out better than regular radio.
It's more than just radio. It's Sirius satellite radio. Right now, get a Sirius satellite radio for under $50.
Always thinking.
It's tournament time. CSTV wants to hear what you have to say. Tune into Tourney Talk, presented by Wendy's. Monday at 7, all part of CSTV Championship Central 2006.
Long live the king. The King of Spring is back on CSTV. Everyone believes that they are the rightful heir to the throne, but only one will wear the crown. This spring, the epic continues.
Inside.
Lacrosse, the King of Spring.
Baseball's great. We have a lot of great players.
These kids are playing because they love the baseball game.
The games take on a playoff-type atmosphere.
Sliding grab.
They're very intense.
It's college baseball. You can't beat it.
Come home to college baseball.
Here's the throw.
Come home to college baseball.
NCAA Lacrosse on CSTV is being brought to you by Nissan and by Lax World. Visit the lacrosse section on CSTV.com to vote for the Lax World Hit of the Week. Lax World, all the gear, all the time. At the half in Annapolis, Georgetown enjoying a one-goal lead over Navy after a last-second goal, up 3-2. Let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Right off the board, Georgetown striking first. Poliso on the unsettled situation. And then it was Trevor Casey, the junior attackman, finishing inside. Not to be outdone, the textbook overhand shot by Steve Looney. Midshipman getting a little bit of extra workout in. And it was a physical game. And a lot of garbage picked up, especially by John Bersner. Then you have here, Brendan Canny, the smooth operator behind the cage, finishing in tight.
Now our Nissan shifts performance. Paul, what do you got?
The mids, it's been the story all year. Shoot smarter. That's their Colgate loss when their attack went 0 for 17. 22 shots today, 2 goals, not good enough. Limit the penalties. That Georgetown man up can be dangerous. And then production from that second midfield. I've been speaking about it before. The Loonies in the fourth quarter. And Tommy Wallner to be tired if that second midfield doesn't emerge and be a scoring presence.
It was a physical first half. We'll see if that translates into the second half, and we'll see if we get a little bit more scoring. It's 3-2 Georgetown. Second half action coming up after this.
Time to check out the HBCU Athlete of the Week presented by the U.S. Navy. This week it's Southern's big man Peter Cipriano. He led the Jaguars in rebounding and blocks this season, helping Southern get to the tournament for the first time since 1993. Take a look at his stats. from the season. The senior averaged more than 10 points a game and close to a double-double. He also improved his shooting this year, hitting more than 55% of his field goals. So congratulations to Peter Cipriano.
I joined the Navy because I had a plan. I wanted to work for myself.
The Navy taught me the discipline I needed to achieve that goal.
It gave me the strength, body, and mind.
And the knowledge to get ahead.
It was the building block for my success.
Today, I own my own business.
The Navy gave me more than just a strong foundation.
It gave me the courage I needed
to find the person in me.
Navy, accelerate your life.
Always thinking.
Low-fat cheese sandwiches on whole wheat bread are high in calcium to help build strong bodies. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Visit smallstep.gov.
We are back at Navy, where Georgetown leads the midshipmen by a score of 3-2. Jason Chandler and Paul Carcaterra. And Sheehan Stanwyck, our third member of the broadcast team, is down on the sidelines with more on Georgetown. Sheehan.
Jason, well, I had a chance to catch up with Coach Urick, and he was pretty simple about the game plan they need to execute in the second half. They need to take care of the ball and stay out of the penalty box. It sounds easy, but he said, you know, when these two tough teams play against each other, the game's going to get ugly.
That's a great point, Sheehan, and I think we saw it get a little bit ugly in the second quarter, Paul. I'm not sure if that will translate here into the third. Do you expect more physical, penalty-filled play here in the third and fourth, or you think it'll clean up a little bit?
Physical play. It's the way these two teams know how to play. That's what they do. They like to bring that physical brand of lacrosse in. Be interesting to see who capitalizes the most on the man advantages.
Georgetown capitalizes on the opening face-off of the second half. They have possession on offense, and they have a one-goal lead. And now they will get the offensive troops they want out onto the field. Dave Polisso checks into the ball game, immediately gets the ball. Polisso has a goal here this afternoon, leads the team in goals, 13 total on the season. As Georgetown will slowly sink into its offensive set, they get it to their quarterback, Brendan Cannon. Nice interior pass to his brother, couldn't get the quick stick goal on net, and Russell will come away with the ground ball, whips a clearing pass ahead. That was a bullet handled nicely by Barger, and he will try to get across midfield and is able to do so, but the ball now loose on the ground. Sloppy play to start things by Navy. We saw how unhappy Richie Meade was. Can't be happy with that, as Denahan had an opportunity on the left side, didn't shoot it. Polisso takes one and scores from the left wing. Dave Polisso went low on Russell, and Georgetown comes out gunning. They now double up Navy. It's 4-2.
Polisso striking first in the second half like he did in that first half. That's a save Matt Russell usually makes, right? I think between the 5-hole. We'll see this replay again. Overhand shot right in the 5-hole. That's a save Russell normally makes, where he'll break to the ball and step with his stick low to gobble that one up. Didn't have his stick there.
When Sheehan spoke with Richie Meade heading into the locker room at the end of the first half, he said Navy played terrible. He said they were terrible in virtually every facet. This not a good start for Navy, with a sloppy play early and then a save that Russell normally makes gets by him, and another sloppy pass right on cue.
I think when Coach Meade speaks of terrible play, it comes back to turnovers and poor shooting. In the first half, we saw poor shooting from the mids. Right here off the bat in the second half, we see a poor pass right there, giving Georgetown another possession. It's all about possessions here in this game. And if you can control tempo and create some runs, it's going to be difficult.
And Navy, in its only loss this year, the 6-3 defeat at the hands of Colgate, was horrible shooting. Their attack was held scoreless on 17 shots. So their attack took 17 shots against Colgate, didn't put one in the net. So bad shooting has plagued Navy in the past.
And in all due respect to Colgate, Georgetown has a vaunted defense. Plays at a higher level than Colgate, so it's going to be tough to get those scoring opportunities against Georgetown. You have guys like Ren Garnett, who I mentioned earlier. I had him a preseason first-team All-American on my column on CSTV.com in the men's lacrosse section. Garnett, one of the top defenders in the country. He leads this group.
Georgetown back on offense. It's Jordan Loftus seeing his first action of the game along the end line. Knocked to the ground, able to keep possession. Nice pass to Brendan Cannon. Cannon takes it to the cooker. It's stopped. And Russell will get the pass and the rebound. And Navy looks to clear. Cannon took it right to the net, but Russell was there after a nice play by Jordan Loftus to keep possession. Navy finally clears it successfully, their first offensive possession of the second half.
What a creative play by Loftus. Loftus actually has a brother who's a sophomore midfielder up at Syracuse, and his cousin is Kenny Nims, one of the top players in the country. Nice roll dodge by Brendan Cannon. If you saw Cannon, he got low on his roll. That's a great way to gain separation from the defense. Start high, dip your shoulder low while you roll. That'll really increase your separation and create a better angle.
Cannon 5'10", going against these big Navy defenders, able to use his more diminutive size to perhaps gain an advantage on a play like that. Marabido directly behind the net, gets a nice pick, tried a centering pass that was knocked to the ground and scooped up by Garnett, who's played well so far defensively for Georgetown, has suffered from injuries last year and this year. Doesn't really practice that much for the Hoyas anymore because of the injuries. And Coach Urich says that really limits him. He thinks that without the injuries, he'd be the best defensive player he's ever coached.
And that says a lot when last year they had Brody Merrill, who is one of those defenders who I personally think revolutionized the game. Brody Merrill was one of the top defenders I've seen play the college game, where he had the takeaway ability, but he also ignited the transition game for the Hoyas for 4 years. He's a Canadian with that offensive game in his defensive position.
He is as good as it gets. He translated right to the professional ranks with Baltimore in the MLL, had a great rookie season, won the Rookie of the Year. Merrill was fantastic. So that's a high compliment to pay to Garnett, saying he is perhaps, or has the potential to be, better than Merrill without the injuries. Centering pass, collected nicely, shot and a score! Georgetown pouring it on early in the third quarter. Garrett Wilson the tally off the nice feed, and the Hoyas are up by 3.
Great team offense. You see Looney overextended, and Paliso found the open man. And always in lacrosse, it's normally 2 away. You want to start the initial dodge, bust it down the side, and that's where you'll see on the backside opening. Great offensive play. That's textbook offense by Georgetown. Starting the dodge, separation, kicking it to the side, and that backside man open.
Almost a decoy on that play by Pete Cannon. You saw number 7 come in there. Thought the pass was going to go to him first, but Wilson able to create some separation and get the goal. Navy wins the faceoff on a procedure call. They get it on offense. Dingman backs his man in. Doesn't elect to shoot and will move back out. Dingman again backs his man in. Senses the double team. Centering pass. Oh, what a save by DeAndrea as he was falling into the cage. That's as good a save as you'll ever see. Oh, DeAndrea, he is standing on his head in his first game back in net for the Hoyas. A fantastic save. It was Barger with the long stick all by himself. The nifty feed from Dingman. But DeAndrea makes the stop, and Georgetown clears. Wow. You jumped out of your seat on that one, Paul.
Wow.
I know it's a good save when you jump up and elbow me. I got the jump and the elbow, so that means it's good.
Well, what's just as fascinating here is Ian Dingman. Great feed here. Look at the crease attackman. It's Victor Barger with the 6-foot pole. Not too familiar. Unfamiliar territory for Barger. And DeAndrea dropped low and saved it high. What an athletic ability on Rich DeAndrea.
We have seen some fantastic goaltending between Russell and DeAndrea. DeAndrea is more surprising because he's a defensive midi by trade this season, 3-year starter. Before this is his first game of the season, and Russell, remember that save early on when he made the kick save going down low. So some great goalie play right now between these two teams. Georgetown up by 3.
And how many coaches have the luxury that Coach Urich has right now? You go to the bench when your starter, Miles Cass, who's one of the highest recruits a few years ago out of Hotchkiss, grew up in Rye, New York, went to school at the Hotchkiss School in Connecticut, one of the top players in the country his senior year, gets the starting position this year, and their backup's a 3-year starter, Rich DeAndrea. What luxury for Urich.
And what defense by Garnett. Goes behind the back with a pass. Here comes Georgetown in transition. The Hoyas get a shot and a score! Danny Nolan with the goal. After the feed from Garnett, the behind-the-back, around-the-world feed, and Danny Nolan puts it in the back of the net in transition. Nolan, a junior.
Look at this feed by Red Garnett. Took it out of a page of Brody Merrill. Textbook fast break here. Brought the ball down. They didn't commit to him. Danny Nolan. What a shot. Danny Nolan actually works some of my summer lacrosse camps. I hope he can teach the young bucks how to shoot like that this summer. High to low, overhand shot. Beautiful.
Nothing fancy there by Nolan. Just kept going to the cage. I thought he was going to get rid of it, but no, he had other ideas. And he scores, and all of a sudden, Georgetown is all over Navy. It's 6-2 Hoyas when we come back.
Oh, B-Dub got Mike in the house. What's up? And his tricked out whip. What does this do?
It sucks in air.
It's definitely sucking.
Yo, Mike, you want us to unpimp this thing? Let me hear you say what?
What?
V-Dub holding it down on the engineering tip, y'all. Yeah.
The GTI Mark V, pre-tuned by German engineers.
Energizer E-squared lithium batteries let you take up to 630 photos in digital cameras versus up to just 90 with leading ordinary alkaline batteries. The world's longest lasting AA battery in high-tech devices. Energizer E-squared lithium keeps going and going and going.
Back at the Naval Academy, Georgetown has opened up a big lead on Navy. They are up 6-2. Quite a run for the Hoyas here to start the second half of play. Well, tomorrow on CSTV, the potential for another good one, Paul. Paul and I will be out in South Bend for Notre Dame, Dartmouth. Notre Dame's starting to play pretty well.
Notre Dame is starting to feel a little hiccup last week against Hofstra, but this game was a one-goal game last year. So we're in for a nice one tomorrow.
That's a noontime Eastern tilt out at Notre Dame as the Fighting Irish take on Dartmouth.
You driving me out there?
Of course I'm driving. That's what I do. I chauffeur Paul Carcaterra around. That's my second job. And your Mustang, sweet Mustang.
Oh, Mustang, please. I don't have a Mustang.
I don't know. I saw you driving one earlier today. I know that might ruin your reputation around the lacrosse circles. You're held in such high esteem. What's wrong with the Mustang? As a shot goes wide of the net by Billy Looney, backed up by Navy. And the midshipman coming out with some fire here. You can bet Coach Meade was, I guess to say it lightly, animated in that huddle.
He's a fiery guy, Coach Meade. He coaches with a tremendous amount of passion, and it really is shown with his team. Wow.
What a check by Jerry Lamb. Stick, ball, glove, everything. And Garnett, the man on the spot for the ground ball, shuffles an underhanded pass that's juggled around a bit by Lemos. He's finally able to scoop it up and get it back to Garnett. Avoids trouble ahead to DeAndrea, and now Georgetown will attempt to clear.
What a takeaway by Lamb. Jerry Lamb from Farmingdale played on the same defense as three other guys in Division I that are starters. Steve Panarelli from Syracuse played on this same defense. He horse-hooked them right there. Wow. If Bersner could have tucked it, if Bersner could have tucked it just a little bit more, Lamb would have been in trouble. You're not really supposed to defensively play behind the man on goal line extended. You open up that backside.
Lamb is listed as the smallest of the three Georgetown defenders. They're all pretty big. Lamb, the ECAC Defensive Player of the Week back on March 6th. Works well with the stick. You saw it there. And we see Georgetown back on offense. Sloppy pass as Casey can't handle the delivery. Goes out of bounds. And Russell and Navy will start things off.
And as a high school offensive player, imagine facing Jerry Lamb, Brendan Skacandy, who starts at Johns Hopkins on defensive midfield, and Steve Panarelli, who's been a starter since his freshman year at Syracuse. Same class, same defense, all from Farmingdale High School.
It's a pretty good line for a high school lacrosse team. Pretty good line for a college lacrosse team now.
Yeah.
Navy back on offense, Paul. I think this is a critical juncture in this game for the midshipmen. They can't come away of offensive possessions without scoring much longer here. Their offense has not shot the ball well. We touched on it at the end of the half. We touched on it at the beginning of the game. They need to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. It's plain and simple.
Stop the bleeding here. The Hoyas have been on a run. This is a 4-goal run for Georgetown. This game was all knotted up at 2 in that second quarter, late in the second quarter. Now Georgetown has answered with 4 straight goals here.
Guido on the right side, wearing the number 9, driving to the cage. This is the second line midfield for Navy. Nekanicki leaves it for Higgins. Although Shea being replaced by Guido on this second line right now. Heavy hitting behind the net. Whistle blows. It's going to stay Navy ball.
And this looks like Georgetown is mixing and matching a little bit with some man defense and some zone, which creates a tremendous amount of problems for an offensive team. It prohibits them from getting into flow. You don't know what you're missing. Right here, it looks like they're in man.
And Navy certainly has not been able to get into the flow offensively, so the defensive scheme put together by Coach Urich and his staff certainly working today. Dingman, nice feed in front. Shot saved by DeAndrea, although that was going wide of the net. But DeAndrea is there. And here comes Georgetown back on offense. They'll slow the tempo a little bit. Time certainly on the side of the Hoyas right now. They can really just lean on Navy, take their time on offense, and work for that one good shot against Russell.
And I think Georgetown has the perfect defense to match Navy. They're athletic enough to keep up with the quickness of Marabido and Bergener, and big and strong enough to play with Dingman, all 260 pounds of him. So they have that unique combination.
Georgetown defensively allowing opponents just a little over 7 goals a game this season. Very solid defense, and you're right, very versatile. They can quick you. We saw their ability to use the stick and the stick check, and they can also out-muscle you. Cannon on the right side, centering, quick shot by Polisso. He pays the price, shot not on net, backed up by Georgetown.
And Cannon, the returning goal scorer leader for the Hoyas, knows that if he has a short stick on him, he's going to go, and the help is going to be very quick, so you have to have your head up and ready to feed.
Shot on the left side by Wilson. He scored a goal here today. Knocked to the ground before it reaches the net, but Polisso there to grab the loose ball for Georgetown. They keep possession. Georgetown winning the ground ball war. Wilson didn't have an angle that time, and will back away and look for help. Gets to Polisso. Tough shot from a tough angle, goes wide by Casey. And let's visit with Sheen Stanwick Birch.
Well, we talked a lot about Dave Polisso today, and you know, he's got an interesting story. Not only did he want to come back and play lacrosse, but he wanted to change the outcome of the ending of the season. He was sick of losing in the quarterfinals, something he saw 4 times happen, and this year he wanted to make a difference. He said, you know, I'm not going to be able to do it when I'm 35. This is a season I can make a difference.
And he's certainly making a difference here today, and making a difference this season for Georgetown, leading the team in goals and also providing a great deal of leadership. Paul, you know how important a 5th-year senior can be to a team.
Huge. The impact is really so magnificent because the leadership, guys who have been there, done it, been through the trenches, they want to lead, and they're mature enough to really know how to do it.
KO in front, takes a shot. Nice save by Russell. Went down low to get that one. KO, Coach Urich said early this week that he has the potential of a breakout game at any moment. Took a good shot there, but Russell able to go low and get it.
And KO's a physical force. He's 6'4" midfielder, but also very highly skilled. Another huge recruit for Georgetown. Scott KO really can play lights out lacrosse. I just think he needs confidence. He needs to start scoring goals to really feel it. Here's a kid last summer was the MVP of the Lake Placid Summit Tournament, which is a big, big tournament in lacrosse in the summertime. Some of the best college and post-collegiate athletes playing lacrosse go up to Lake Placid, New York to play, and he was the MVP.
Billy Looney up top. Nothing there as it looks like Navy will get that first-line midfield core out there. Tommy Wallen takes the ball, has a step, room to shoot, does and scores! A big goal for Navy. Tommy Wallen Georgetown gave him a lot of room to work with, and he made the Hoyas pay.